Hello, I'm Rob Westervelt, Editor-in-Chief of IHS Chemical Week, and welcome to the 2014 IHS Chemical World Petrochemical Conference. And I'm delighted to be joined by Pete Cella, CEO of CP Chem, Chevron Phillips Chemical. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you?
Good. I know in a presentation next week at the AFPM International Petrochemical Conference and in recent conversations that we've had, you've made a key effort around workforce development. Right. And here's the first question. I mean, how concerned are you about the shortage of skilled labor in the U.S. and what impact is that having on projects like what you're pursuing on the U.S. Gulf Coast?
You know, I think it's important to remember that our project started just a few years ago, and at that point, we were just learning about the development of shale resources and getting our heads around how that was going to affect the chemical industry and everything downstream from us. And so when we started talking about our project, the issue was, are the resources really going to be there? Well, can we count on the ethane and the other NGLs to be produced in quantities enough to give us a competitive advantage and make this a great place to invest? As that became better known and the development is real and it has legs and it is something we can count on, then we start to think about the other constraints on our ability to successfully prosecute the project and have a successful investment. And what that's led to is a concern about the workforce development, having enough people, competent, skilled workers to build, to operate, and to maintain all these investments, not just my company, but across the industry. I think the American Chemistry Council talks about over $100 billion of chemical projects being on the docket over the next 5 years in this country. And the question is, where are all the people that are needed to build, operate, and maintain this $100 billion investment program going to come from? And so my fundamental message and the concern that we have is we need skilled workers. And how are we going to get them? You know, if you look at the workforce that is going to be constructing these assets, the peak that we see in terms of the projects that have been announced is just a year away, sometime in 2015. They're talking about 90,000 skilled workers being needed along the U.S. Gulf Coast to construct all the projects that are in the queue. As I understand it, that about meets the supply of skilled workers, and what I'm told is that you never get to 100% utilization of a workforce. No. That like a chemical plant, anything above 75%, you're starting to test the limits of what that workforce can successfully, with quality, complete. And so that's the big concern for us, is where we're going to get the pipe fitters, the welders, the electricians, the instrument techs, the rig operators that are needed to build all these assets. In our case, we've got over 10,000 engineering and construction jobs as part of that demand that we're already starting to see. And after that, once all the plants are built that we're building, we've got 400 permanent jobs to operate and maintain the assets. And in our case, we're looking for all the people to not just staff and maintain the plants we're building, but the plants we already have along the U.S. Gulf Coast. In the U.S., we probably have 4,500 employees, and about half of that number are what we call operations and maintenance, or O&M for short. And we see over the next 6 years almost 3,000 people that we need to attract and bring into CP Chem, not just to staff the new assets that we're building, but to replace the wave of retirements that we're expecting to see within our existing workforce. As we sit here today, Rob, about one third of my workforce is retirement eligible. And over the next 5 years, that grows to half of my workforce. So we're talking about a very immediate, acute need to ensure that we've got that quality pipeline of talent to pursue a vocation, to pursue a skill like pipe fitting, like welding, like operators, like maintenance techs, instrument techs, electricians, so that we can build, operate, and maintain this deep pipeline of projects that my company and others are pursuing.
Okay. And what is the role of companies like Chevron Phillips Chemical or even ACC in encouraging the development of this workforce and encouraging STEM education?
Well, I think there's a lot we can do, and we've already started doing. In our case, the fundamental issue for us is getting the word out. I believe, and we believe, that we have a a middle school and a junior high and a high school population and their parents who have a single mindset that, you know, everyone should go to college and needs to go to college. And what we're trying to get to, the message to parents and to students is that there is a technical career that is highly skilled, it pays well, doesn't require the length of time that a 4-year college program requires. And when you graduate, there's a great earnings potential for you. In the case of a starting operator coming out of a 2-year program in the state of Texas, the starting compensation is about $50,000 per year. For a trained welder or a pipe fitter, the starting compensation is about $70,000 per year. So this is 2 years out of high school with a 2-year associate's degree in one of these technical skills. You've got an amazing earning potential and you can provide for your family. So this is the kind of information that we need to get in the hands of students so they're making an informed decision about what are they going to do after high school. So getting the word out is really our fundamental mission as we sit here today. And we're just getting started with what I call the second half of that, which is making sure that the technical colleges, the 2-year community colleges that are providing these degrees, that are providing this training, have the right curriculum and the right facilities to be able to train this incoming workforce, so that when they graduate, they can step right into our jobs. They've got the skills they need. They know what kind of equipment we have because they've seen it in their education. And so we're working with the local community colleges around our sites, the San Jacintos in Pasadena, the Wharton County College near our site in Old Ocean, Texas, the Lee College in Baytown, Lamar Institute of Technology in Beaumont. These are all colleges that 2-year programs, technical programs in our case is what we're seeking to create that and develop that workforce for our needs.
Great. Ed, can you give us an update on the status of the U.S. Gulf Coast project that you're pursuing?
Be happy to. So I think everyone knows by now that this project is fully approved. Yep. We've got our final investment decision, and we have a groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for April 2nd at our Cedar Bayou plant in Baytown, Texas. So we're inviting folks like you, Rob, and other members of the media, and some local leaders in the community and municipal and state government to really thank them for their support for this project. It would not have been possible without their support. And then later in the year, we'll have a second groundbreaking ceremony. This is one of the benefits of having 2 different sites. I get to have 2 different groundbreaking ceremonies. The second one is at our site in Old Ocean, Texas, near our Sweeney plant, where we're putting the 2 polyethylene units, and that groundbreaking is scheduled for the middle of June. Right. So we've got 2 big events coming on, and anyone who's driven by these sites has already seen a lot of work that's been going on.
Correct. And final questions about current conditions in the market. What does demand look like in the U.S. today? What are you seeing in 2014?
We see demand continue to be quite strong in the U.S., especially. Globally, it's not as strong, but our portfolio is global in that we've got customers in every corner of the world. I'd say right now the strongest demand is here in the U.S., and it's I'll say nearly as strong in Asia, and with Europe following close behind. So this is one of those situations where the U.S. economy, even though it's not growing as fast as some other developing economies are growing, it's truly leading the way in global growth.
Great. Thanks very much, Pete.
Great. Thank you, Rob. Nice to see you.
Thank you.